It is the invisible, high-stakes audition that determines whether you become a temporary distraction, a potential resource, or the man she genuinely respects and fears losing. If you believe that dating is simply about finding mutual interests and having chemistry, you are operating with a profound misunderstanding of female psychology. They are often unconscious, sometimes deliberate, and they are universally designed to push your boundaries, assess your consistency, and rapidly filter you into one of two categories: the man she commits to or the man she controls. I'm talking about the 5 critical tests women run on men in the first month. These tests are not casual interactions. They are sophisticated screening mechanisms rooted in millions of years of evolutionary psychology, designed to answer her most fundamental biological questions. Are you consistent? Are you dominant? Are you resource-rich? If you cannot recognize these tests, if you cannot understand the deeper psychological objective behind them, you will inevitably fail them. And when you fail them, you signal weakness, you sacrifice your authority, and you resign yourself to becoming either a placeholder until something better comes along, or a man managed by her emotional whims. We're going to decode this process completely. We're going to walk through the exact nature of these 5 tests, the specific behavioral cues she uses to launch them, and the precise, unwavering response required to pass them all. This is about pattern recognition and high-level self-respect. This is about giving you the ability to navigate the complex social landscape of dating from a position of absolute power and clarity. Tell me the city you are watching from right now. Understanding the scale of this universal dynamic is key to mastering it. Why these tests? Why the intensity in the first 30 days? A woman's biological clock and her investment in any future offspring demand a partner who demonstrates unshakable stability and consistency. She needs a man whose resources, protection, and emotional frame are reliable, not sporadic. The tests are friction points. They are designed to disrupt your pattern, to see if you crumble under mild pressure, and to determine if your stated values align with your actual behavior when challenged. Every man can be charming, attentive, and highly motivated for a few weeks. That is the baseline. If you fold on your boundaries after 2 weeks, she knows immediately that you will fold on major life decisions later. If you tolerate slight disrespect in the first month, she understands you will tolerate outright contempt down the line. We must first understand the concept of the frame. Your frame is your internal operating structure. When you enter a relationship, you are essentially asking her to enter your frame. The tests she runs are frame challenges. If her pressure causes your frame to shake, you lose status immediately. She perceives you as weak, easily controlled, and therefore unfit to lead the relationship or the future family. When she issues a test, she is not looking for compliance. She is looking for unshakable self-respect. Passing the test means holding your frame firm, demonstrating that your internal reality is so solid that her emotional turbulence cannot sway it. The typical male approach to early dating is fatally flawed because it is built on seeking validation. He wants her to like him, so he tries to be agreeable. He volunteers resources, he makes himself constantly available, and he preemptively avoids conflict. Women are not attracted to agreeableness. They are attracted to strength, purpose, and scarcity. When you make yourself too available or too agreeable too soon, you communicate low value and lack of options. This triggers her subconscious to test you harder, because she must confirm if she has accidentally selected a beta male who she will inevitably resent. Her attraction operates in the opposite way most men assume. She creates manufactured scarcity to see if you will overinvest and overtext, or if you will match her effort and maintain your balance. She introduces slight disrespect, a late cancellation, a brief dismissal, to see if you will tolerate it, or if you will hold her accountable to a standard of mutual respect. It is a necessary mechanism for her to determine if you are a provider and protector worth committing to, or merely an easily exploitable source of temporary attention and resources. Understanding this dynamic fundamentally changes your behavior in the first month. You realize that her emotional state is often irrelevant to the test itself. She might be genuinely annoyed, slightly upset, or simply stressed, but the test is active regardless. The first 30 days are about demonstrating a relentless commitment to your own schedule, your own boundaries, and your own identity. You should be making her fit into your established life, not rearranging your life to fit her potential presence. Every time you allow a boundary violation without a calm, immediate, and high-status correction, you teach her that your rules are flexible, and a man with flexible rules is a man she will never truly respect. That your time is valuable, that your standards are high. Now, we are going to prepare for the specific tactics she employs. The first 4 weeks are essentially a negotiation of power and control. The men who try to win the argument or fix her emotions during a test are the ones who fail. The men who pass are those who remain unreactive, calm, and slightly detached, responding with unwavering adherence to their values. This detachment is the most powerful weapon you possess. It signals to her that you are not emotionally invested in the outcome of her test, only in the maintenance of your own integrity. Your primary mission in the first 30 days is to be the calm, consistent rock she can lean on, not the jittery, needy branch she can shake down. This level of insight into relationship psychology is what separates the men who get to choose their lives from the men who are chosen by default. You deserve to know the rules of engagement. This information is a competitive advantage that millions of men are missing. Drop the phrase "frame check" in the comments below, right now, to signal that you understand the stakes and value this essential knowledge. Hit that like button to amplify the signal that real clarity is needed in the dating market. Do not miss the next transmission. We are just getting started, and the forthcoming revelation of the actual tests, the test of availability, the challenge of compliance, the boundary probe, the excitement test, and the ultimate commitment test, will fundamentally change how you interact with women forever. You will walk into your next interaction armed with perfect information. Ensure you are ready for part 2. It is an intense, high-stakes psychological audit. Understand this. Every interaction, every delay in texting, every slight inconvenience you encounter is specifically designed to collect data points about your core masculinity, your emotional frame, and your capacity to lead. We have already covered the initial tests, the soft compliance checks, and the availability scarcity gauges. Now we must move deeper into the mechanisms that truly differentiate the men who are seen as long-term providers and partners from the men who are immediately categorized as temporary entertainment or placeholders. This knowledge is not theoretical. It is essential for survival in the modern dating market. Tell me, where are you tuning in from right now? Which city are you in? Knowing this helps us understand the global community of men committed to making informed, strategic decisions about their relationships. We move now into the third and perhaps most destructive test a woman runs on a man early in the relationship, the emotional reaction test. This test is highly specific. The woman will intentionally inject a controlled measure of conflict or emotional volatility into the relationship, seemingly without cause, to observe your response under pressure. This might manifest as sudden coldness, an accusation based on a misinterpretation of a minor event, an expression of crippling insecurity designed to demand excessive reassurance, or manufactured drama involving her friends or her past. The trigger is usually negligible: a delay in a text response, a plan change, or simply her own boredom. What she is actually testing is the stability of your frame. When she throws the drama bomb, she is attempting to yank you out of your center to see if you prioritize her fleeting emotion over your own internal structure. Most men fail this test spectacularly because they are conditioned by society to become emotional fixers. They match her rising emotion with their own anxiety. They spend hours trying to logically explain away her feeling, or worse, they beg for validation and reassurance that the relationship is safe. First, you show her that your peace is contingent on her mood, which instantly inverts the power dynamic. You become the needy one, reliant on her cooperation. A woman needs to feel that her man is a lighthouse, a fixed, steady point in the storm. If she can generate a small squall and make the lighthouse sway, she loses all respect. When she introduces the drama, you must slow down. Do not mirror her anxiety. Instead, acknowledge the emotion calmly, without adopting the narrative she is presenting. A simple, detached statement such as, "I hear that you're feeling stressed right now, but that is not an accurate assessment of this situation." Or, "We can talk about this when your emotions have calmed down." "I am not having this conversation while you are escalating," achieves two essential goals. It shows empathy for the emotion, she feels heard, but it strictly rejects the manufactured drama and the demand for irrational validation. This is leadership, this is strength. The fourth foundational test in the first month is the investment test, or the barrier test. This examines your resource allocation strategy, specifically your time, your finances, and your energy. Women test a man's willingness to invest heavily early on, not just to receive resources, but to gauge his level of desperation and the scarcity of his options. The investment test often presents itself as sudden, disproportionate asks. For instance, a test might be, "My car broke down 50 miles away. Can you drop everything and come get me right now, even though you said you were working on a major deadline?" Men who fail this test treat their resources, especially their time and money, as expendable commodities that exist solely for the purpose of pleasing the woman. This premature overinvestment screams high need and low options. You signal to her, "I have so little going on in my own life that your immediate comfort is my highest priority." A high-value man's time is valuable because it is scarce and tied to a larger mission. A man who is too available, too financially generous without reciprocal emotional or physical commitment, is perceived as desperate, and desperation is the antithesis of attraction. Your investment must mirror the level of established commitment. In the first month, investment should be minimal, strategic, and focused on shared, enjoyable experiences, not costly tokens or extreme effort. If she demands a disproportionate time commitment, politely assert your boundary. "That sounds fun, but I already have X scheduled. How about we plan for Y instead?" It communicates that you have priorities independent of her, that you respect your own time, and that her status as your potential partner must be earned incrementally, not bought instantly. By maintaining boundaries and proportionality, you force her to invest in you, her time, her effort, her emotional vulnerability, which is the true path to securing her emotional commitment. If you give her everything for nothing, she will value you accordingly. These two tests, the emotional reaction test and the investment test, are where most potential relationships collapse in the initial phase. Female psychology teaches us the opposite. Commitment and respect are earned through emotional stability, boundary enforcement, and the non-negotiable pursuit of one's own mission. If she can emotionally destabilize you or easily exploit your resources, she knows immediately that you lack the prerequisites for genuine leadership. The consequences of failing these tests extend far beyond the first month. The man who validates early emotional drama is signing up for a lifetime of manufactured crises because he has taught her that volatility is the fastest route to his attention and compliance. It is crucial to understand that these tests are largely unconscious. She is not sitting down with a checklist. Her instinctual feminine nature is probing your defenses, seeking the highest possible value pairing. When you fail, you confirm her worst assumptions about your ability to lead, and the relationship is immediately placed on a timer before she finds a better option. The next phase of this audit, which we will dissect in the final part, deals with the ultimate pressure point, how she tests exclusivity, competition, and your willingness to surrender your power in the name of commitment. You are gaining the tools to navigate this complex landscape with precision and authority. We are ensuring you are never caught off guard again. This simple acknowledgement confirms you are internalizing the central lesson of emotional control. Affirm your commitment to knowledge and subscribe to the channel. Give this video a like. Your engagement is the fuel that allows us to continue delivering this unfiltered truth, pushing against the confusing narratives designed to keep you weak. You must understand how she weaponizes competition and commitment pressure. Do not miss it. You've recognized the strategy. You've understood the intent behind the interaction. But the biggest mistake men make, the critical error that invalidates all previous success, is believing that the tests stop once the relationship becomes exclusive or defined. This is where the true psychological battle begins, and this final section details the definitive conclusion of the testing phase, the final judgment, and how to maintain the high-value status you fought so hard to establish. The 5 initial tests, the scarcity test, the validation trap, the boundary probe, the logistical burden, and the emotional drama test, these are merely prerequisites. They are designed to answer a single binary question. Is this man weak or strong? A woman needs this information instantly, because her biology compels her to seek protection and stability, and she cannot invest time or emotion into a man who she deep down knows cannot lead or protect her through life's inevitable conflicts. But passing these 5 tests only grants you access to the long-term examination, the permanent, ongoing assessment that dictates the quality and longevity of the relationship. The final phase is not a single test. It is the integration of all 5 principles into your very identity, creating an unshakable frame that resists the gravitational pull of compliance. While the initial tests were about screening your potential, the post-commitment phase is about testing your consistency. Women are incredibly sensitive to slippage. The moment you concede the frame, the underlying structure of respect and expectation you established, you fail the permanent test. This failure is often not loud or dramatic. Once a woman perceives she has full control, that her emotional states dictate your actions, that her demands override your priorities, that her comfort supersedes your purpose, the fundamental dynamic of attraction begins to decay. Attraction is predicated on respect, and respect cannot coexist with absolute compliance. She will immediately and often unconsciously begin the process of settling resentment. This is the poison that destroys marriages where the man passed the initial tests but failed the final consistency assessment. She sees you as the stable provider, the safe option. But deep down, the absence of challenge, the vacuum of male leadership, registers as weakness. She stops seeing you as the powerful man she earned by passing your standards, and starts seeing you as the compliant man who settled for her because he lacked better options. Integrity means being whole and undivided. Your actions, your words, and your internal beliefs must align. The strong frame you displayed in the first month must be the same frame you hold a decade into marriage. First, the purpose test. This is the ongoing assessment of whether your relationship has replaced your life mission. In the first month, you demonstrated purpose by having a defined schedule, ambitious goals, and activities that did not revolve around her. The moment she senses she is the center of your universe, you become less interesting, less worthy of respect, and paradoxically, less loved. Your purpose must remain the gravitational center, with her orbiting it. You are committed to her, but you are devoted to your purpose. Second, the non-reactivity test, emotional frame. In the initial weeks, you mastered non-reactivity to her drama. They might involve manufactured arguments over money, passive-aggressive communication, or using intimacy as a reward or punishment mechanism. The strong man recognizes these as emotional tests designed to pull him off his center. When she initiates unnecessary conflict, you do not escalate or appease. You state your boundary clearly, offer a factual solution, and withdraw the energy from the conflict. When you can speak calmly, we can address the issue. This refusal to react establishes you as the immovable object, the psychological anchor that she needs to feel safe. Third, the boundary expansion test. This is the slow creep of entitlement. This manifests as controlling your friendships, censoring your hobbies, spending disproportionately, or making unilateral decisions about shared living spaces. Passing this test means establishing a clear delineation between ours and mine. Your personal space, your financial autonomy, and your male relationships must be protected with surgical precision. When a boundary is encroached upon, you must immediately address it, not defensively, but authoritatively. This is not acceptable. We must respect the agreement. Allowing minor infractions to slide guarantees major infractions will follow. Fourth, the authority and leadership test. This test determines who makes the high-level decisions regarding the trajectory of the relationship and family. This is a catastrophic failure. A woman wants a man who is capable of making difficult, objective, high-stakes decisions. Do you dither, seek her emotional approval, or fold under pressure? To pass, you must gather the data, weigh the risk, make the decision with conviction, and communicate it clearly, inviting her partnership in execution, not her permission for action. The synthesis of these ongoing efforts is the creation of the unmoved frame. The unmoved frame is the psychological condition where the man's internal state, his mission, and his boundaries are entirely independent of his partner's emotional volatility or external attempts at control. This frame is the source of lasting respect and enduring attraction. It is the definitive pass on every test she will ever run because it proves that you are a man driven by internal standards, not external approval. They are a woman's biological mechanism for seeking security. If she stops testing you, it usually means one of two things. Either she is completely secure in your strength and leadership, rare, requires constant frame maintenance, or she has concluded you are weak and has already mentally checked out, preparing for the next potential option while using you for provision. You want the former, not the latter. Never mistake peace for respect. The journey we've outlined, from recognizing the 5 initial screening tests to mastering the unmoved frame, is the blueprint for attracting and retaining a truly fulfilling, respectful partnership. It requires you to prioritize integrity over comfort, truth over fantasy, and purpose over compliance. This shift is powerful. This shift is necessary. You are taking control of your dating life. You understand the matrix. You owe yourself this level of internal strength. I want you to comment with the phrase, "My frame is solid." This declaration establishes your new reality. You demand more truth in your feed. The value delivered here, this raw, unfiltered reality, is irreplaceable, demanding your commitment. Give this video a like immediately. This action signals the algorithms to prioritize reality over comforting lies, ensuring this life-changing information reaches the men who need it most. We have laid the foundation of psychological understanding. Next time, we dissect the single most destructive myth about modern masculinity, the belief system that collapses your relationships and your ambition. The next video is the antidote to male confusion, shattering the conditioning that keeps great men playing small. You need to see this to unlock the next level of your potential.